This right here is a Martian dome hidden deep in the desert, and it's one of the remote hotels we'll be exploring in this video. From a desert camp in the Sahara that we'll trek to by camel, to a Star Wars themed village complete with real-life pod racers, these are the most epic stays hidden throughout the world's deserts, and we'll be spending the night in all of them, with the adventure beginning in Tatooine, because this first experience takes place. Cut. I'm not trying to get a copyright strike from Mickey Mouse here. This place is Star Wars themed though, so that's cool. And this place is so isolated that to get there, I had to drive hours through the remote Utah desert to what looks like a sci-fi movie set. Dude, this is crazy. What the heck? This is Outpost X, an immersive sci-fi village built on a dried lake bed that isn't just a hotel, but an entire experience that feels like another planet. This just might be one of the most creative Airbnbs in the entire US, and for the next 24 hours, I'll be exploring everything this otherworldly place has to offer. There's so much going on here. Believe me, we'll get to all this in a bit, but first, let's go check out our crib for the night. And our crib for the night is a cave. Just call me a caveman. Let's get it. You have to come with me though, because I have to set you up inside, come back outside, and then pretend like I'm going inside for the first time. Yo, this is awesome. It kind of feels like someone went to one of those Tusken Raider camps from Star Wars and just decked it out with a bunch of modern furniture. We got a living room, sleeping room, pooping room, cooking room, a table that seats two, and surrounding my place are my two cave neighbors. And every single one of these is completely unique, which is awesome. There's also some Zen domes over yonder. And since this is kind of a creator week here at Outpost, I just so happen to have some friends staying in one of those, so let's go check them out. This is Rachel. She's an Instagram person.
Hi, YouTube. Welcome to my house. This is the living room. Over here we have the kitchen where I'm gonna be making steaks tonight.
Pooping room, but that's not gonna be used at all because as we all know, girls don't poop. Isn't that right, Rachel?
That's right.
This shower is actually kind of sick.
And this is the bedroom where I can lay in bed and look at the stars.
It's like an igloo that never melts. I guess this is another place you could sleep. Just a random bed out in the middle of the desert. Talk about sleeping under the stars. That was actually really comfy. So this right here is the main common area, and it's kind of just a space in the middle of everything where people can hang out. And as long as we're here, y'all gotta meet the rest of the crew, Sienna and Harry. And this is pretty crazy. Harry here is actually one of the 4 who turned down the $1 million bribe in Beast Games. So why the heck did you do that? I would have been on that button so fast.
Money doesn't matter that much to me, and I told people that I wouldn't do it.
Respect. And then if you go up the stairs, they have this nice little mocktail bar where you can mix up some silly goose juice. Or I guess since it's mocktails, it's some not so silly goose juice. Serious goose juice. And right through this opening here, we have the spa. Oh yeah, I made it that. Oh! There's some hot tubs, definitely hitting those tonight. These are cold plunges. And this thing's actually a wine barrel from France. It's been turned into a giant sauna. Ooh, it's like a sauna in here. And inside this crazy looking wooden thing right here is the con lounge. It's just a chill little hangout space with a movie screen, some games, a bunch of funky looking instruments, and you can paint pictures. Picasso couldn't have done a better job himself. Primarily because he's dead. All right, it's time to tell you all about the coolest thing at this entire place, and that's in this garage right over here. These are the Sand Cruisers, and they're modeled after the pod racers from Star Wars Episode 1. They're the things Anakin was always racing. But they're actually just golf carts cased in fiberglass, and these are just one of the creative ideas of the founders, one of which I got to talk to. You know who the most vulgar character in all of Star Wars was?
Who?
R2-D2. They had to bleep out every word that guy said. I'm here with Josh, who's one of the guys making this all happen. Let's hear the story of Outpost.
We are about as far out in Utah desert as you can get. We came out here and got 240 acres for 100 grand, some of the cheapest land in America. So we're totally off grid out here. What we wanted to build here was not just a hotel, but a very immersive sci-fi-esque film set hotel. We definitely want guests to feel like they're experiencing something, not just staying the night. People, come out here and they feel like they're experiencing Dune, or they feel like they're experiencing, Star Wars.
You know why episodes 4, 5, and 6 came before 1, 2, and 3?
Tell me.
Because in charge of planning Yoda was.
Dad jokes for the win.
So food works a little differently here at Outpost, but in the absolute best way possible. There's no restaurant or anything like that. They actually fill the fridge with ingredients and then give you a cookbook so you can cook recipes on your own. I think I'm gonna try to cook this thing called an armadillo sunrise. We need some pita bread, eggs. Oh gosh, just call me Darth Tater. There's not a single potato in this dish. And after finishing a delicious dinner, it was time for a group workout on the trampolines. All right, y'all, we're playing Duck, Duck, Goose with everyone here. This is some serious shit. Oh, that's how you goose, baby.
Boys versus girls, lightsaber battle.
Because nothing says you're a bunch of mature adults quite like Duck Duck Goose in a lightsaber war. That was a good lightsaber battle, y'all. Why is everyone still alive? With the day coming to a close, we headed over to the spa for a much needed hot tub sesh. This spa better be out of this world. You know, cause anyways. Well, would you look at this?
Come on in.
Don't mind if I do. Why do the trampolines look like Mickey Mouse? Star Wars really is owned by Disney, isn't it?
You want to play mermaids?
So one last thing we're doing tonight is supposedly there's supposed to be a bonfire out here on the playa. This is like the best place ever to have a bonfire. I'm so excited.
We just stacked up a couple hundred pallets. We're gonna have a huge fire. It's gonna be amazing.
Man, you holding a gas can looks like trouble. Oh! Dude, that was crazy.
This is exactly what I wanted. I was like, get 100 pallets. No, get 200 pallets. This is amazing.
You look like such a villain right now.
Yeah, I'm in my villain era.
Thought we'd grab the sand cruisers and see how close we can get to the fire.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Well, we showed those pallets who's boss. All right, I think it's time for bed. I've started wearing these breathing strips to bed because apparently it's good for you, and also all the finance bros do it, so maybe it'll help make me successful. Oh, how funny would it be if I went and slept in that random bed that's out in the desert? That's the move. That's the move. Dude, why am I like this? All right, this is my bed for the night. This is actually gonna be a good night. The temperature's nice. It's peaceful out here. Can't complain. Night, night. Sleep tight. Don't let the Tusken Raiders bite. Good morning. Another day, another disaster. Let's get it. So I packed up my bags and slowly made my way over to the trampolines, where I bounced and I bounced and I bounced so high I flew all the way to Morocco. More like Moroccan, am I right? I had a 14-hour flight here, and that's the only location-specific pun I could think of. This is my second time in Africa, and I feel like Morocco's been on my to-do list for a hot minute now. All my friends who have been here say it's one of their favorite places, so expectations are high. And so are the temperatures, my goodness. And where we're going was originally gonna be part of my Extreme Hotels video last year, so that should tell you what kind of adventure this is gonna be. But before we head out to our isolated Airbnb, we need to check out the busy streets of Marrakesh, because that's where this journey begins. All over the place here on the square, they have snake charmers and black cobras. They have some very interesting street food here in Morocco, and this cart right here is selling snails. I guess you could say they don't like fast food here, because it's a snail. I'll have a small dish. Oh, dude, that's rough. Bottoms up. It's kind of like eating a big salty booger. No wonder I love it. So tomorrow at this time, we're gonna be isolated in the Sahara, and I'm not sure these clearance rack Walmart clothes are gonna cut it, so let's get dripped out in a more Morocco-friendly outfit. What do we have here?
We have like a linen shirt.
Oh.
Desert is always like warm, so right here we have the scarf that you will wear tomorrow for desert. You fold that in the front, you take this side, and make it around the head, and you take the other side so you can carve your face from the dust.
All right, ready for the desert.
Desert is very good, it's very nice, it's a little bit hot, a nice experience.
And after grabbing some mint tea, I hopped on a rideshare headed to the desert, which would be an 8-hour drive from Marrakesh. We drove through the Atlas Mountains, stopped at a town where an episode of Game of Thrones was filmed, and our driver dropped some ancient Middle Eastern wisdom.
Live your experience step by step.
That sounded poetic. After hours of driving, the dunes of the Sahara slowly came into view, and so did the realization of just how crazy this trek to the desert camp would be. Dude, this is absolutely unreal. Feels like a scene from Dune, and I haven't even watched that movie. This is usually the point in the segment where I drop an introductory dialogue about the place we're staying, but the journey getting there is kind of the main deal with this one, so let's do one about the desert instead. Yeah, if we could just edit in some kind of... This is the Sahara Desert, and it's by far the largest hot desert on all of planet Earth. It spans 11 countries in northern Africa, and it's filled with life despite being as desolate as a place can get. For centuries, Berber nomads have called these dunes home, and now it's time to join them as I journey to an isolated desert camp hidden within the Sahara. This is gonna be the adventure of a lifetime and a story for the grandkids. That was sick. Might have to change my last name to Attenborough. And how are we getting to the desert camp, you might ask? Or you might not ask because you saw the intro and probably like 4 other YouTubers doing the same thing. We're riding a camel, y'all. Giddy up. But this actually isn't a camel. It's a dromedary, which is a different species here in Western Africa. A camel has 2 humps. The dromedary has 1 hump. And you know what a camel with 0 humps is called? Humphrey.
Holy smokes, that's bigger than I thought.
And our camel caravan set off into the distance.
I think the goal is to make it to the camp before sunset. We have a ways to go.
How is this an actual animal that exists on this planet? They are so goofy looking. They don't seem like they should be a thing. It's probably saying the same thing right back at me.
They blend into the desert so well. Call that camouflage.
Ooh, that guy just growled.
Hi there, buddy. Whew, this is hot as the Sahara Desert out here.
And after hours of riding through a sea of sand, we took a breather to give the camels a rest and watch the sunset.
It's getting close to sunset and we have some time to just get off the camels and explore the dunes and check this place out. Words genuinely can't do justice. These are just the most pristine, satisfying sand dunes you've ever seen. I know I say this about a lot of places, but it's really like no other place on earth.
What do we think of the Sahara?
It's amazing!
Best sunset ever.
Finger
licking good. Was good, Canada? Describe the Sahara sunset in one word.
I'd say breathtaking, eh?
That's 2 words. These Canadians.
Well, we just have a little ride more until the camp, so let's finish off strong. Can't wait to see it.
And as nightfall was closing in on the desert, the camels were closing in on our camp.
Room number 8. Oh, amazing. Thank you. Oh, this is actually super nice. Look at that. Y'all finally got an authentic reaction to seeing a room for a first time. Making big moves on this channel. Welcome to our abode for the night, tent number 8. Let's have ourselves a tour. You gotta come with me, silly. This is our main sleeping quarters with 2 different beds, which is a great thing because I turn into 2 separate people at night. I was actually very surprised to find out they have electrical outlets in here. I was not anticipating that. There's a salt lamp, so that's handy if you're the type of person who shops at Whole Foods. Little purple couch, pooping room, a sink, and a shower. Not sure how that works, seeing as how we're in the middle of the Sahara Desert, but I'm gonna put it to some good use later. And now we're supposedly meeting for tea in the main community tent, so let's spill the tea. We made it. All our friends from all over the world. Wow, look at this British guy getting his tea. So stereotypical. Better watch out, I'll go throwing that in the harbor. And now we're going to a fire and drums. When I do this format of video, I have so much more fun doing these just cool experiences that are kind of dirty and gritty over anything that's luxury, so this is my type of deal.
Then I headed into my tent for the night, took a shower, brushed my teeth, and transformed into a finance bro.
So they said we're waking up at 6 a.m. to eat breakfast and watch the sunrise, and it's currently 1 a.m. because YouTube videos are really hard to make. So let's get a good 5 hours of sleep and see what adventures the desert has in store for us tomorrow. Night night, sleep tight. Don't let the camels bite. I hear they do that sometimes. Okay, I need to go set up a time lapse. Wake up, y'all. I slept like a little Moroccan bug in a rug. There was a little cat outside my tent that kept meowing all night, so that was fun. Let's get breakfast. All right, the sun is rising. Let's get this day started. You guys know what the funniest thing about this place is? On Airbnb, it's listed as a beachfront property. I mean, they're not wrong. They didn't say oceanfront. Catching the sunrise. Beautiful stuff. So now they have sandboarding. I think these are honestly just snowboards and you can rip down the dunes on them. Seems fun.
And as someone who spent my entire life skiing and snowboarding, this wasn't much different at all. I can confidently say this is the most fun thing I've ever done in the desert, especially with a bunch of new friends from around the world.
Sand dunes? More like the send dunes.
But then I wiped out face first, and I rolled, and I rolled, and I rolled all the way to...
Jorden. I'll call you back, dude. I have to shoot an intro for this video segment.
All good, mate.
My friend Jordan's always calling it the worst times. And our next country is Jorden. I don't know much about this country, but what I do know is right now I'm in a rental car driving to our stay for the night, which is 4 hours south of here in the Wadi Rum Desert. We need to make pretty good time getting down there, but there's an emergency pit stop I need to make because we're right next to a place that can be described using a superlative adjective, and there's nothing us YouTubers love more than a superlative adjective. Welcome to the lowest point on Earth, the Dead Sea. It's 410 meters below sea level, which for my Americans in the chat is 3,668 Big Macs below sea level.
And it's 10 times saltier than the ocean, which means...
You can float without even trying. It feels like I'm in some kind of sensory deprivation tank.
This place is saltier than some of the people in my comments, my goodness.
I kept driving south into the Wadi Rum Desert where I got my first glance of our stay for the night.
Dude, this isn't just a desert. This is basically Mars with more oxygen.
This is Sun City Camp, the original dome camp in the Wadi Rum Desert. It was modeled after the dome from The Martian, which is just one of the many movies that was shot here. I'll not only be staying in the domes, but taking on a full day's worth of adventures that'll let me experience Jordanian culture in one of the most otherworldly places on planet Earth.
Dome sweet dome. A big clear dome is exactly where I should be staying tonight, because after the Sahara, you can call me Sandy Cheeks. Wow, that is so much more spacious than I was expecting. Notice how I set up my camera pressed up against the outside. That was genuinely my first time going in. There's a number of amenities in here, including and limited to a bed from which you can look out at the big beautiful desert or up at the night sky. Curtains, just in case you don't want the entire world staring into your dome. Coffee and tea. Refrigerator. Hardly. Oh, there's drinks in here. Robes, not just one, but two chairs. A little round window. You already know I love those. And I believe this back here is the bathroom. Now that's a pooping room. And the feature I'm by far the happiest about is the AC unit. The desert's already scorching hot and the dome's basically just a big greenhouse, so I would be absolutely cooked without this. Ooh, look, they even left me a little platter of fruit. This seems like something that deserves to be eaten on the deck. Look at this little setup right here. I feel like ancient Middle Eastern royalty. Oh, that's cool. Oh God, it's so much cooler out here in real life than in pictures. I mean, I feel like I've been seeing these domes all over Instagram for years, but to actually be here and be able to experience this is just next level. Well, our dome on the range exceeded expectations. I can't wait to sleep here tonight, but it's not even the coolest part about staying here because this desert we're in right now is by far the biggest reason to show up. And we're about to go on a Jeep adventure to check out some of the landscapes. What's up? Are you the Jeep man?
Yeah, welcome.
Good to see ya.
Yalla, yalla. Yalla, habibi, yalla.
I have zero idea what that means.
Kusai and I made our way deeper into the desert to explore some of the many epic places it's hiding.
All right, first stop.
Here in Wadi Rum, we shot many movies, Star Wars, Aladdin, Dune. This is location for where we shot the movie Martian with Matt Damon.
So you guys see this giant flat area out here? This is where the desert scenes in the two newest Star Wars movies were shot. That first place we stayed may have looked like Star Wars, but this place actually is Star Wars. This video must be the Star Wars Spectacular or something. Yeah, Star Wars. That's all I got. Basically, whenever Hollywood needs a place that looks like a different planet, this is where they come. And that's very understandable because it literally looks like Mars here. Did you guys hear that they recently found a cat on Mars? Unfortunately, it was dead. Turns out curiosity killed the cat. That's a nerd joke right there.
And Kusai must have thought I was getting bored because next thing I knew, he sent the truck straight down a mountain of sand.
Holy smokes! This dude's trying to kill me. Bro, how fast are we going? Dude, I thought you were trying to kill me back there. This man doesn't belong in the desert. He belongs on a racetrack. You need to get into Formula One or something. Kusai and I are finishing off our journey today with the sunset campfire. Dude, how do you manage to find firewood out here? That's fuego. Oh, how do you say fire in Arabic?
Fire, it's in Arabic, nar.
Nar. Nar.
Nar shy.
Nar shy. It sounds like an Australian trying to say that they're shy.
Yeah, shy.
Nor shy.
And then it was time for tea.
Shukran. I don't think I've had anything like that in my entire life.
This is not tea. This is the Bedouin whiskey in Wadi Rum.
And my people, the Americans, call this absolute gas. I'm not coughing because it's bad, I'm coughing because it went down the wrong pipe. All right, Kusai, that was amazing, man. Thanks for the adventure.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
And with twilight engulfing us in the desert, it was time to head back to the domes for dinner.
All right, I was not expecting a video about domes in the desert to turn into a cooking show, but here we are. I'm here with the head chef at Sun City, and we're about to cook the national dish of Jordan.
Malsaf, yogurt, and lamb, and shrek.
Shrek. Shrek. Shrek.
Yes.
And then I saw her face. I finished this Jordanian cooking course I didn't even know I signed up for, and dinner was served.
There we have it, mansaf, the national dish of Jordan. Thank you so much for teaching me how to make it. Mary had a little lamb, emphasis on had. All right, so how does one eat mansaf?
They break it, and the tongue is full of meat too.
Oh, you eat the tongue?
Yeah, it's very tasty too.
All right, you see that right there? That's the tongue of the lamb. Winning rum. Oh, that's actually really good.
It's juicy and soft,
Juicy and soft. It's just how Papa likes it.
And after devouring a sheep's head, it was time for bed. There's not even anything in the cup. And we have one more super epic experience planned for the morning, so I'll see y'all at 4:45. Set your alarms. Night night, sleep tight, don't let the Martians bite. Almost forgot. Nostrils open, business deals closed. Now we can go to bed. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up! You overslept, we're gonna be late. It is 4:45 a.m. and we're up at this hour because apparently that's how early you have to wake up to join a hot air balloon ride. Yeah, that's what we're doing. There's a clip of it in the intro, you probably knew, but I've actually never been on a hot air balloon in my life. This is gonna be a new one for the bucket list. But funny enough, it was my grandpa who actually invented the cold air balloon. It was a great idea and concept, but it never really took off. Dude, look at that scale. That's a man. Going up.
How high above the ground are we gonna get?
We will go to 3,000 feet. Now we are already 1,300.
Definitely the best view of the desert right here. It's so incredibly beautiful up here. Just trusting our lives with a straw bucket.
This is safer than you walk on the street.
How long have you been doing hot air balloons?
It's 94.
Wow. Oh, look at that. There's another in the distance.
And after an hour's worth of sightseeing Wadi Rum from above, we very thankfully made our way back down to earth.
That was the perfect way to finish off our time here in Jordan. Just an unforgettable experience. Well, that's about it. Guess all that's left to do now is wander off into the desert. See ya.